Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and today we're talking about Saw 2, the movie that made Saw a franchise.
I don't know if that's how you.
That's what it. This is the one that did it today on Hack the Movies. Hello, retired, failed wrestler Kid Osbourne. How are you doing? How are you dealing with retirement from your butt injury?
It's it's semi-retirement.
Oh,
and
okay.
I know that we're talking about Saw, and I just want you to know I already feel trapped.
Well, you should feel like Jigsaw because you have a little puppet here.
I know, and
I can't believe. Apparently, all these months I've been talking to a puppet. I swore it was you, kid.
it's a good-looking puppet, and I know that it's definitely haunting you this entire time.
The hair's a little brighter than yours, but that's fine. Yeah, that was from our good friend Jay Sumnown. There, he finally got it. And I realized
I love it. And don't worry, it's staying right here.
I didn't turn the flash off on the sign. Boom. Okay, how you been, Kit?
Oh, a lot better. Well, I was a lot better, and now I'm here.
I know you were just so afraid of the match I kept challenging you to that you had to figure out a way out of it, but I guess you forfeit and I win. Now, anyway, Saw 2. How do you feel about the Saw franchise?
Well, I'll be honest, Saw 2 I haven't seen since it was in theaters.
Really?
And then rewatching it, I was like, wow, I thought it was a lot better.
So we have the opposite reaction because I didn't see it in theaters. I don't know if I saw this when it came out on video or if it was when I had a girlfriend. I think like 6 was coming out. And I talked about it in the first one. I didn't really like the first Saw at the time. I wasn't really that into it. I've grown to like all of these to some extent. And I was like, I don't want to watch these stupid movies. She made me watch like all of them in a week. And then we ended up not seeing Saw 6 in theaters. But I remember this being one of the more tolerable ones. And upon rewatches, it's probably the best sequel, to be honest.
I mean, they made most of their money off of, that indie film, which it is. And then they utilized that money and they kind of put it into like, I think more of a traditional horror.
They really like refined it because like his rules in the first one, he was kind of breaking here and there. And this is when they start introducing that he has apprentices and stuff, and they start like filling in the gaps from the previous film.
Yeah, but I didn't know that she was an apprentice until the very end.
I didn't know either.
But yeah, it definitely like there's it's not just him.
Yeah,
this frail man.
Yeah,
how's he setting this trap up?
Yeah, how freaking lucky. Yeah, it was funny because like all the questions I had in the first movie, all these sequels try to answer. So yeah, this time is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. He wrote a script called The Desperate, and he couldn't get anyone to like sign on and make it. But somehow it got to the producers of Saw, and they read it, and they realized that it could be reworked into a Saw sequel. And it's kind of funny because apparently they told him that like New Line wanted to speak to him about his movie and its like connection to Saw, and he thought it was like he was gonna get in trouble for plagiarism or whatever. He's like, oh no, they're gonna think it's too similar and I'm gonna get in trouble. He thought he was like getting sued, and they're like, no, we like your script. Can you turn it into a Saw sequel?
Oh my god, what a turnaround! Like,
yeah, because Lee Wannell and James Wan, they weren't available to come back for this one because they were making the movie Dead Silence.
Oh man, they really picked the best one out of it. I mean.
Remember I hate Dead Silence.
I didn't like that either.
No,
I only saw some of it.
The guy was dead the whole time and he was a puppet. Anyway, yeah. So they were doing Dead Silence. Lee Wannell, who wrote the first one, he did come in and rework it a little bit to make it fit within the Saw universe. And then a lot of the crew from the previous one comes back. So you still have that frantic edit style. It's shot kind of the same.
Yeah.
And then I have it here. The producers were listening to fans, and the fans were upset that a lot of the kills were off screen on the first one. Which actually
they didn't have the money.
I know. But yeah, if you rewatch the first one, they do that frantic editing and stuff to kind of get around it. It's not as gory as you really remember it.
Right. It is. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, not to a lesser degree, like Terrifier.
Yeah.
Which did you see these yet? You saw them, right?
Yeah, I review them.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't watch your stupid show. I'm just on it because you pay me good money to come here.
I don't pay you good money.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, I ended up reviewing it, which I felt bad because you yelled. I randomly decided to review it because 3 got so big. So me and Casey just shot an emergency episode. And then I felt bad because you wanted to do them. And Crystal had been talking about doing them. And then I just shot it randomly. And I'm like, well, I hope neither... I'm glad you didn't find out till now. Crystal found out on a live episode and yelled at me.
I was touting it so much.
I know.
All I wanted. But when do I ever ask you? I'm like, I want to watch this one.
I took a picture that I was just seeing it, and you sent me a text like, "Fuck you! I thought we were gonna." And at that point, I hadn't even decided to review it. I'm like, I'm getting yelled at for shit I didn't even do yet.
Oh my god. I already forgot that you did, but anyway, it is like it's like Terrifier. Like they have like no budget, and then when it skyrockets, and then they use the money to make it even better.
This is when it really became torture porn. Maybe the third one. I don't know.
The third one, I think this one had a little more story to it.
Yeah. But yeah, so they offer Darren Lynn Bousman the opportunity to direct and write, and they listen to the fans. So yeah, let's just get into this great film. All right. The movie starts with a guy waking up in a chair with his eyes all bloody and a contraption on his head. So it's kind of like the first one was the reverse bear trap. This is normal bear trap, I guess?
No, this one's, what do they call it? It's Venus flytrap.
Oh, yeah, he said it's like a Venus flytrap,
yep.
But it's similar to the device we saw in the other one.
It's just got these like spikes and shit in it.
It's kind of like an Iron Maiden, if an Iron Maiden fold it real quick. Yeah, it's kind of what we expect. He wakes up, he doesn't know where he is. We get the TV on, and we see little Billy the puppet telling him that he's punishing him for being a snitch because he watches people and he's an informant to the cops. And I'm like, is that really that bad, Jigsaw?
I know you would. I know you wouldn't think so, you rat. But
I mean, the way he's trying to like stop crimes. I mean, Jigsaw. Usually you go after worse people, but okay. But he's just like, yeah, you're a snitch, you're a rat, and you gotta like stop looking at people or whatever.
Just stick with your own, you know?
So yeah, he has the trap on his head, and it's like it's gonna collapse on you. The key is what does he say? It's like it's right before your eyes. And he sees the video of it being like sewn into his eyeball. And yeah, so he has to rip out the key from his eye, and I have it here. I would just die. I would not make it out of this.
Oh, no, I wouldn't be able to do it. It's like, if I have something, you should see me put my contacts in. All right. The first time I ever put my contacts in at the eye doctor, I'm just like sweating, putting it in. How do you think I would do trying to get a key out of my face? This face.
After the procedures I had and accidentally stabbing my eye, the pain I went through, like, after those procedures was the worst pain I've ever been in my life. If someone told me you have to cut this out, I'm like, just kill me. I'm going to want to die anyway. Just kill me.
I mean, and the thing is, like, his way of death, I mean, he doesn't know how he's going to die, I guess, but he sort of does. But, I mean, that's not a bad way to go.
I mean, it's pretty quick compared to a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, it's not like you're
I'm like, oh, this is going to just snap on. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do it.
It also reminded me of when rewatching it, all I thought about was Butters with that ninja. The ninja.
Oh, from the anime episode. They just sound like a talk.
He's still too.
Oh, so he dies.
Yeah.
Saw 2. Cut to the title card. Saw 2. Then we meet Donnie Wahlberg. Playing Eric Matthews, and he's picking up his son Daniel. The kid who played Daniel ended up being in Scream 4, and I believe Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He's like the first band they fight against. But yeah, he's in the police station because he's been stealing. He's been acting out since his parents separated. Dinah Meyer comes back as Detective Kerry. And she shows up to investigate the dead informant because I guess she's the last one left on the Jigsaw case because Danny Glover died. if everyone died, the other guy dies, I would be really scared to be her right now. I honestly would be like, hey, can you just put me on a different case? I don't want to be on this.
But isn't it smart? You kill off all the, all the cast that took all the money. You know? So if it's a success, you can just go, oh, let's just bring in these cheap fucks.
We bringing Carrie Elways back? No, not yet. They do eventually. Yeah, so they're investigating the informant. They bring Eric in because he has to identify him. And I like that he's like, yeah, just show me his face. I'll get it right away. They're like, yeah, about that.
About that.
Yeah, about that. It's going to be a little hard to do. We have to peel it out of a metal trap. But yeah, he is able to identify him. And then we find out that there was a clue left that suggests that he's involved, Eric. For some reason, Jigsaw is targeting Eric Matthews. Was that the name of Corey's brother on Boy Meets World?
I kept thinking about it because, well, I mean, any Matthews is all. And also, wasn't he on Raw the other night? And they, oh my God, what's her face? Fisher. She was there. And they just didn't identify him. Like, the
really?
nameplate, and he's right there with her.
Well, this is coming out later, but yes, at the time of this filming, Raw has finally went to Netflix. They aren't the best working together, Carrie and Eric. They don't really like each other too much. But they narrow down Jigsaw's location, or he gives it to them. I forget which one it is. They know where Jigsaw is. They hunt him down in his big, lair. And I love that he's chilling in his evil robe.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
We pointed out
you wouldn't. So yes, 100%. He's like, oh, I've been expecting you.
Yeah, yeah, really. We pointed out in the first one that when they snuck up on him to save that guy, Jigsaw didn't know they were gonna be there, so he's just wearing his bad guy robe and had a fog machine in the elevator just for his own amusement. So I like that even though he's got his IV drip and stuff, he's like, I still got to put my bad guy hoodie on. Ooh, I look so cool.
I want to look like I'm on my deathbed.
Yeah. So Rig is the guy who's in charge of the SWAT team, I guess, or whatever they're called. They go in. This isn't really a test. This is more just like a trap. Because it doesn't kill them. But yeah, the one cop's legs just snap back. And then the chicken wire around them is all electric.
Yeah, they all I just love how he's like, I've never killed anybody in my life. You're like, the fuck you mean?
Well, that was my problem with the first one. It's like, well, you slit that guy's throat. You didn't know that Danny Glover would survive that. The dude got shot with the shotguns. You weren't trying to test him or anything. That was just the thing you had for intruders. That technically, but you're right. These sequels, they never some characters call him out, but the movies never are yeah, John's a hypocrite. They're all nah, he's justified. It's no, he's kind of a hypocrite.
It's I get it. You're trying to have this idea of well, he's a really clever fellow, and he absolutely, he is, but he's still a killer. I think so. Let's believe him. I think that's why
they decided to add the element that his apprentices were the one messing around. Right. Yeah, they investigate the lab and they find monitors, and they find out that a game is currently being played live.
I just love they just it's almost like Back to the Future. They just whip all this shit off, and then they turn it on whoa, what's this? We discovered it.
But it gets worse for Eric. His son is in the game.
And then shit gets real.
Shit is going to hit the fan.
I'm going to kill you and do nothing.
I like that Jigsaw's just mocking Eric. He just makes fun of him, makes fun of the kids. But he lets him know, he's like, hey, look, everyone in there right now, gas is leaking in there, or there's poison in there. I think there's a poison in their system.
It's
right?
A poison that I guess slowly eats them up or something.
Yeah, he compared it to
there's bleeding inside.
Yeah, what did he get? Yeah, so it's a poison. It's not gas. But he compared it to a real attack that happened in Japan. He mentions a specific attack that was real where they used something like this.
Okay.
But he's yeah, in a few hours they're all going to die. And he's just where's my son? And he's just he's in a safe place.
Yeah,
Did you get it? That's why at the end of the movie you go, oh! He's such a freaking jokester. Come on, man.
But he's just one. that's just there to pop himself.
Yeah.
It's the inside jokes with yourself. It's like
I'm just thinking if I was there, I'd be like, kid, where is it? And you're like, it's in a safe place. I would look at you and be like, is there a safe around here? There's something, like, look around. That was too obvious.
Yeah, I want everybody to know
He's always winking to the audience, and I want people to be like, was that a clue? What did you just do there? You said that really weird. That means something else.
Did this detective that does this for a living just take his word for it and also just believe all this was live?
Oh, I love this. This had me dying. When he goes to call his son and the son's phone rings, but Jigsaw left an outgoing voice thing for him where he's like,
"You've reached Daniel's phone. He's not in right now.
Come on, man. You're so evil. You're not the hero when you're doing joke voicemail messages."
Can you, like the camera's not on him, but he's there in the background. You could just, like, all I picture him doing is like, fucking dumbass.
He does, there's multiple times in the recordings he'll laugh at what he just said. I'm like, what an asshole.
It is, I can relate to all that. Like, nobody laughs harder at their own jokes than me.
He's in a safe place. He just laughed. There's something. That was a clue. Write it down. That was a clue.
Stupid ass rat.
So in the room, we see that Daniel is there, along with Amanda from the first film,
right?
Who got the job in the first film because I think the writer had a crush on her and just wanted to give her a small part because he had a crush on her. And now look at her; she's in a bunch of these sequels.
She is the movie now.
I think she said she wasn't expecting to come back with like such a big part. So there's Amanda. There's a new guy called Xavier who is an asshole.
Like
Jonas, Addison, a lady named Addison, a guy named Abby, another dude named Gus, and then Laura.
God, these names, Gus,
and Laura played by Beverly Mitchell from Seventh Heaven, one of the sisters in Seventh Heaven.
I know, but your eyes just lit up.
Because I literally have never seen any of those other actors from anything, but I remember at the time being like, is that the middle sister from Seventh Heaven? That show's not getting a reunion.
No.
Oh no. You can't, a little hard to do that one.
Oh my God, man. Come on.
Most of the show is about how the dad solved the problems, and you can't bring them back to that show. She was also in Crow City of Angels, which we covered on our What is the Worst Crow movie episode. Spoiler, it's not that one. Just wanted to let you know it's not that one.
I love how you act like I know your catalog, Like,
what's your favorite Crow movie?
The Crow.
What's your least favorite? Well, which one?
That's the only.
Because there's a new one called The Crow.
Yeah, not that one. And I only saw the one. The only time I ever watch bad movies and continue watching them all is when you tell me to. I anytime somebody brings up the Jaws thing, I go, that was like homework. I never put these on.
Wow, how can you not put Jaws 3 on? It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone's on edge. They're all jumping to conclusions, panicking. I like that Amanda wakes up and she's like, "Oh no!" Because this would really suck if you survived and ended up in a new game. I feel like, oh man, I was real lucky that last time.
Like, you dumb bitch. What are you like? Will you look over your shoulder? Just once.
Jigsaw lets them know that they're dying, and there's antidotes spread throughout the house, and that the numbers to their salvation are in the back of their mind, and X marks the spot.
Where is it? Literally on
again, back of your mind. I'm like, let's check the back of our heads. Do I have anything on me? What if someone just figured it out really quick? Like, did you
I don't think that he's picking people that are that smart.
That is true. Which I also think is unfair. He is real unfair. Sometimes he gives them like not enough time. I'm like, I caught it out in the last one. Like, he doesn't factor in like people like panicking and their adrenaline messing with their like decision making.
Yeah, well, put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
One, that's it. Like,
it's like you have a minute. It's like, can you give them like a half hour maybe for them to calm down a little bit? I love that they get the key. They find a key somewhere, and it literally says do not use the key to the door on this for this room. And he's like, yeah, we should use it. And the other guy, Gus, is like, that's a good idea. And I like Amanda's like, no, it's not a good. It's like the worst idea. And this shot was used in like every trailer for the movie where Xavier puts the key in the lock and you just see there's a gun on the other side, just blows the guy's head off. Why would you look into the peephole?
But like, isn't that what you do all the time? Like,
what if no one had looked into the peephole and the gun just like went off and just hit the wall?
Then it wouldn't be a movie, would it?
Yeah. I bet Jigsaw is just sitting there and be like,
oh, rats.
Thought that'd be cooler.
I didn't have anything else to follow up with this.
I thought that would get like one of them. All right, well, we'll see how the needle pick goes. He gets like real. We don't get to see all the tests, by the way, in this house.
No.
They're all supposed to have specific ones, but we only see a few. And we never learn. We know why she's included with all them, Laura Beverly Mitchell, but we never learn like what her deal was, I think.
Oh, like what her
we never even know like what her crime or whatever was. Right. So that's interesting. So yeah, that guy's dead. Amanda tells them that they're in Jigsaw's game and that she beat him before. And I like that people are like, who's Jigsaw? The girl's like, don't you watch the news?
Yeah.
I feel like this would be like really big news.
He's the guy that I'm going to be backstabbing everybody with.
I feel like if there was a killer like this, and you lived in that city, everyone would know about it.
Well, I mean, it's not like this is the 10th one. Like, this is number 2. I mean, I guess
no, it is no.
Yeah, he does have a whole.
Because in the first one, the doctor knew who he was because he had killed like several people before that. Yeah, right. He is very well known right now.
Yeah. So I don't watch the news. I just work out.
Yeah,
you know?
Just work out and get angry. It's like, well, you probably watch the news because there's a guy going around mutilating people horribly.
Well, that's not going to happen to me.
What are the chances it'll happen to me? By the time you get to like then the 8th one, you're like, how many people are left alive in this city? I love in 3D when there's a support group for survivors, and there's more that we never even knew about. You're like, oh shit, he does this all the time. Anyway, Jigsaw demands to have a one-on-one conversation with Eric. He really just wants to talk to Eric and call him out on his bullshit. And Eric threatens to kill him, and Jigsaw's like, I'm already dying. I have cancer. He brings it up like all the time.
Yeah. Again, Eric, I don't give a shit.
Eric's like, yeah, that really sucks. You have my kid kidnapped.
Like, oh, come on, man. At least just give it to me. Give him back.
So Carrie like begs Eric. She's like, hey, can you just humor him? Can you humor him to buy time so we can figure out where this feed is coming from?
Yeah, you hothead cop. Like, will you just chill out, dude? Your kid's
stop being all hot-headed.
Your kid it's not even that old. Like, how do you love him that much?
I think most parents, unless you want to reveal something, I think most parents love their kids off the bat, right?
That's probably why I don't have kids, man. You know?
I mean, yeah, the baby's nice or anything, but I don't really know it yet.
Yeah, they all look the same, you know? They're weird shaped heads, you know?
So the victims, they search the room for clues, and the door opens. So I guess he didn't need to use the key. The door just would have opened. And speaking of hot-headed, Xavier's hot-headed. And even though he just fucked up Royal, he shouldn't be this confident. He's like, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to be fine. I'm going to open up this door. And luckily, he doesn't die.
Yeah.
It just doesn't open. So Eric chats with Jigsaw a little bit more. Turns out he's not into the name Jigsaw. He's like, yeah, should I call you Jigsaw? He's like, I don't really like that name. It's like the jigsaw piece on their body was like this whole like metaphor thing. I didn't think people would call me that.
It's like, it really shows how simple all you people are. This is why I'm killing you. And you know what? Actually, to be honest, that's why he's killing all these simple ass people. Like, let me get this guy that's at the gym. Yeah. You know?
This reminds me of Red Dragon when the killer is like, I don't like that they call me the Tooth. When he's writing to Hannibal, he's like, I don't like that they call me the Tooth Fairy. I call myself the Dragon. And everyone's like, hey, Tooth Fairy. He's like, oh, call me the Dragon. What did John Gray, what do you think he wanted? What was his gimmick
What did he
name?
actually want to be called?
As a wrestler, what would his name be?
Well, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know. You would be like the shadow or something like that. It has to have the.
Yeah. The Jigsaw. Like, that didn't really make sense.
The Jigsaw.
The puzzler.
Some of you can call me the.
The game maker.
Yes. The game.
Yes, it was the game. Hey, that's already taken. What? Who took it? Speaking of which, there is a Christian movie starring Roddy Piper that's like Christian Saul. I think it's called The Reconciler. It's like a guy puts a bunch of people in a room and he makes them like question their faith or something. And people called it Christian Saul. We might have to do that one.
Did you just find out about this? Because I feel like I
found out about it a while ago.
Okay.
And I've been trying to find someone to review it with, and I just remembered.
I will watch that. I think Roddy Piper is awesome.
Everything I've seen Roddy Piper in, he's been hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely do that.
Absolutely.
I just like that there's a Christian Saul movie. No one dies, but it's like you got to learn how to love Jesus.
That sounds even more horrific.
He tells Eric, he's like, "Yeah, I know you have a past of beating up suspects, and I think he killed one of them." Then he asks for water. He's like, "Can you give me some water?" It's like, dude, you're Jigsaw. You know you're pushing his buttons. Like, can you reel it in just a little bit?
Yeah, because you get to that point, you're like, dude, just spit in it a little.
But back at the house, Xavier starts ripping the wood doors down. He's like, "It's all wood. It's hollow. I can break it down. I'm a man." He breaks down the wooden doors. It's like big steel doors.
Yeah. Like, you big dope.
It's like, oh shit. I didn't expect that. Why is John Kramer so good at finding abandoned houses and warehouses
in the city, like, that nobody's gonna find for a while?
I think some of it is justified later on that like his wife owned a lot of properties, but like, how does he have this many properties off the books? Like, that's too much. Because no one's ever just walking by and being like, "Hey, I think I hear a bunch of people in a house shooting each other. What's going on in there?"
I mean, if that was the case, then you would have, when we talk about 3, that you're going to go, well, why wouldn't they have already known where that is this whole time? Because we would have kept records of it somehow.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about 4 when you find out the place in 3 is actually bigger. It actually gets bigger. So they're talking to each other, and I like the girl was making fun of how he couldn't open the door, and he goes, "The only door you know how to open is between your legs."
He's referencing a box, guys.
A tight box?
Calm down, Tony.
It's my friend's nickname. A Lucy tight box. Anyway, she goes by Kaylee on this show, but on the other show she's on, she's Lucy tight box. She's also known as Crystal with a deeper voice by one guy on our Patreon. That's what they call her. So yeah, Xavier. That's what they call her.
Crystal with a deeper voice.
That's what they called her. So yeah, Xavier and Jonas, they learned that they both served time in Joliet. You know who else served time there?
Who?
Jake Blues from the Blues Brothers. Joliet Jake, the one that Belushi played. Which I think at the time of this airing, my review of the Blues Brothers is out. And speaking of Lucy Tightbox, I'm pretty sure me and her review of Blues Brothers 2000 is out on her channel. Don't watch Blues Brothers 2000. Just don't do it. Don't watch the director's cut of Blues Brothers. It's way too long for an already long movie. I love it, but it's too long. And don't watch Blues Brothers 2000. It's not good.
Oh, shoot. That was on my list.
Yeah, it's been out since 1998, but you haven't got around to it. You're like, oh, what are the odds? I was finally going to watch it tomorrow.
My VCR's on the fritz.
I've been going through all my tapes. Alphabetically, you're still on B all these years later. All right. Turns out all of them serve time. And then Lara finds...
We're all starting to learn about each other.
Yeah.
We're all criminals.
We're all criminals. And then Lara finds the door to a basement that has a dead body down there. I don't know whose dead body that was.
Was it... I actually don't think it was anybody that was from...
No. Maybe it was just like a previous victim.
Because it looked like super dead. Like, that
Yeah, I don't know if they ever circle back to who that was.
No, it was just there. And they're like, oh, dead body.
Yeah, but it's got a sign for Abby on it. Which is funny because in my notes initially, I kept calling him Hoodie Guy because they kept not showing his face. I'm like, who is that? And it's just, you find out why he was hiding his face from everyone. In the envelope is a tape for him. And it's Jigsaw, come on. You burn people with your lies and deceits. And it's like, also, Jigsaw's like, and also I hired you to kidnap everyone. It's like, well, Jigsaw, I mean, you're kind of playing along with this. You're hiring, you're also part of the problem. He never gets called out for the hypocrisy. So yeah, he kidnapped everyone.
Well, no, because they immediately are like, wait, you're the guy this whole time? Like,
and then Laura was like, wait a minute, you did kidnap me.
That's right, I remember now.
Yeah, from the 5 seconds I was awake, but also not facing you. I guess she saw him in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to crawl through an oven to grab the antidote for himself and one other.
I feel like there's 100% a better way they could have done all of that. You know?
Yes. This was
actually, I know that, like, but
I don't know why they didn't get like a stick or something.
You guys, like, you couldn't add things up. Like when that one, hey, let me pull this that has a gun.
Yeah.
So let's just do the equivalent and just go literally into this whole oven.
So yeah, he goes in, he's like, all right, got the needles, boom, shuts the door, trap is triggered, fire starts going on, and then literally he sees the knob to turn off the fire. And I get there's flames in front of it, but he never makes an attempt to twist that knob.
He just kept kicking it, you know?
Yeah, he just kept
kicking to the other side.
And punching the window. I'm like, twist the knob!
You're gonna punch the window. Right? That's fine.
That you should know cannot be broken with fists. It's not built for that.
But you can't just get a little I mean, at that point, you could still push through.
Yeah, yeah. It was early enough when he saw it that he would, I mean, he's fucked either way, but like, he would have gotten out at least.
Yes.
He never even makes an attempt. They try to help him out. They're trying to like open up the door, but their hands are burning. They break with that bat with the nail studs. They break the window, and he like crawls out kind of, and he just fucking dies.
It's just like
and Xavier, who's just a wonderful human being, is like, damn it, the needles melt.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I'm like, well, to be honest, not for nothing, that's probably what I would have said too. I'm like, shit. Like, you don't think, as they progressively start getting more and more sick.
Yeah.
Like when I get like a sniffle, I would have canceled. I'm like, it's cold. I'm chilly, and they're like pushing through.
In this blizzard we're in right now.
It's like 19 degrees outside, and I didn't even want to get out of my car. I mean, it's already hard enough to get out to come in here into this layer. I look at your studio from like the car, and I just go, why am I such a glutton for punishment like this?
So Eric calls Jigsaw out for his weird justification for not being a murderer, even though he kind of is. And Jigsaw calls him out for being a weak dad. Like, you're a shitty dad. It's like, what the fuck? But then he's all like,
you're a weak dad.
But he's like, it changes you when you know exactly how long you have to live. And we flash back to him discovering that he has cancer and that he became depressed. We find out in other films that he was already kind of sad. He had already gone through some kind of shit.
Right.
But he's very, very sad. So yeah, he became depressed and he tried to kill himself. He didn't appreciate his life.
I had literally driven myself to suicide, and I had failed.
So he drove off a cliff. I like that he's like, my body wasn't strong enough to fight cancer, but somehow it let me survive falling off a cliff with a big metal spike in my abdomen. So yeah, he survives that. And he was like, and then I got it. I'm like, oh, wow, I now appreciate life. Well, that is a thing. If you ever hear people who like survive suicide attempts, like it's overwhelming. They're like, yeah, I regretted it. I'm just like, oh, God, I'll never do it. It's almost unanimous. They're like, yeah, as I was falling, I was like, nope, I regret this.
It's kind of the same as like, oh, is that a hot stove? Let me put my hand on it. Yeah. I'm never going to do that again,
Well, what are the chances it's going to burn you a second time?
That's true. You know,
Yeah, you don't know.
I like to
unless you
subscribe to
try.
your newsletter. I'm liking what I'm hearing here.
So yeah, he's like, yes, I learned that I appreciate life, and if I put other people through this, they'll all think the same. And I want Eric to be like, oh no, you're crazy. That's why I worked for you. I don't think this is gonna work for everybody, dude. You're like you're not really all there. think you're just operating on a different level. Most people are gonna go, oh my god, I'm missing a limb now. I hate my life.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just kill me. It's over.
At least I'm alive. It's like, no, there's a lot of people who've survived some terrible shit, and they're like, nah, I don't want to be here.
I had this, this wrestler Schlack.
Yeah.
And he had this match, and we're in the back. And he goes, hey, Kit, you know what the worst thing that could happen to you? And I'm like, dying? Yeah. And then he goes, no, you get paralyzed. And I just go, how's that? And he goes, because you can't even kill yourself. And I was like, and I'm about ready to have my match. And I'm just like, what did you just say? He's like, you wake up.
You don't
want
to hear that before a match? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. So you're like, hey, why don't we cut some of that stuff?
Hey, I'm trying not to think of D'Lo Brown and Draws right now. Could you not remind me?
Yeah, I try to
Yeah. Oh my God. That's horrifying.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I guess then I thought about it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'd rather have just died.
Yeah, and then you forfeited that match too, like you did mine.
Forfeited?
Yeah.
Like what we're just talking about, regret. Maybe you should actually listen in, follow suit. All right. There's not a barrier.
Are you implying
here.
I wouldn't have made it through that match?
You can put it together.
I've worked out a little bit more since then.
Oh, okay. All right. I see it. I see. Look at all that. You should consider getting a tan.
Oh, thank you, by the way, for sharing an Instagram story when I was fat as shit. That made me feel great.
It's called motivation, and I only do that for my friends.
In the 3XL shirt you gave me, you fucking asshole. Anyway, Daniel wakes Laura up because she passed out. The poison is hitting her really hard. Someone overdid it on her. And then he questions
That's
Amanda.
A way to say it. Huh? Somebody overdid it. Man.
Sounds a little wrong. He questions Amanda about Jigsaw, and Amanda reveals that after she survived her first test, she became a cutter. And she's still not appreciating life. And then Dan asks what she was arrested for, and she's like, we should ask the cop who arrested me. Wink! Wink! She's been hanging around Jigsaw. I mean, or is she? And he almost outs himself. He's like, yeah, I've been in trouble, but my dad... And she looks at him and is like, it's just a real jerk.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all I was gonna say.
He's like, what were you just about to say?
You sound like you were gonna say something else.
Spit it out.
You paused, and it looked like you struggled for another word to say. They never call him out. That is one of my favorite South Park things, the gingers. When Cartman finds out he's not really a ginger, they tricked him. And they're like, oh, never mind, I changed my... Because he's a cult leader. Like, I changed my mind. And the one guy goes, what did that guy just say to you? Because you were all on board, and that guy said something, and now you changed your mind. Oh,
he just said, it was really cool.
So, Xavier, I guess he gets his test. Is this the one that was meant for him? The needle pit?
Well, that was... No, well, yeah, because then he threw...
Yeah, I forget I forget whose test it was meant for.
Well, it wasn't anything to do with steroids, was it?
I don't know. Well, point is, there's a pit full of needles.
Yeah.
And there is a key to... There's a key to a safe or something that has antidote in it.
Mm-hmm. It's a needle in a haystack.
It's like a... Yeah, he goes, it's like a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. So clever. Oh, my God.
Now that we know he has apprentices, you think there's in the background, they're like, good one! He's like, oh, shut up.
Nice one, boss.
But they also have the voice filter.
Like
they're
too.
like, good one, man. Yeah. Like, hey, shut up. This is just supposed to be me. And you know what? Xavier's an asshole, but if someone's like, who's going to crawl through the needle pit? I'd be like,
Yeah.
Who has the most experience with needles? Yeah. Drop her down there. This is the hardest.
Get the druggy.
This is the hardest scene to watch. It makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I said, like I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I'm moving, like
you
just kind of
like,
rubbing my jeans right here.
Feel them, because we all don't like needles.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people who do, but we all don't like needles. So to imagine like having hundreds of them in you, I'd be like, ugh. Yeah. Also, Jigsaw, even if they learn their lesson, they're going to get some kind of infection and probably just die. Are these sterilized? They don't look sterilized.
Oh, yeah. Did you look at the lighting in every room? You know, it's clearly not.
But yeah, this is the standout scene of the movie, the needle pit. It still hurts to watch. It still hurts. And when she just gives up, it's like starts like digging through it.
And after that scene or whatever, she said that it like scarred her. And she still thinks about that. I'm like, I would too.
Yeah, it's horrifying. But yeah, she finds the key, but he doesn't get it in time. And then he's all mad. He's like, all right, I'm leaving. It's like, dude. And he looks down at her feels? With like a little bit of like shame, like, maybe I did go too far.
Sorry about it. Better luck next time, Nice try. Old college try.
Then Lara reveals that they all went to jail. But again, she never reveals what she got put away for. It's still a mystery. Then back to Carrie. Carrie suggests that they threatened to destroy his work to get under Jigsaw's skin. Because he has all his blueprints and stuff there. It's like, wait, this is life's work. You should like rip it up and destroy it. And he'll be like, no.
He's like, oh, rats. It was supposed to be here for the aesthetic. And she screwed it all up.
So, Eric goes in there, starts ripping things up, and Jigsaw's pretty calm about everything. And then he starts bringing up Eric's past, like how he killed an unarmed man. He's like, is this how you acted when you killed that guy? The big, like, reveal for this, there's several big reveals, but it's Eric's dad specifically arrested all of them. Because he finds, like, the file, and, like, everyone in there is someone that he arrested or is informing. Yeah, yep. He actually arrested them. Xavier goes back into the one room and looks at the back of the dead guy's head and sees the number. And he figures out what it is. And then Jonas tries to, like, reason with him. Xavier's not having it. They duke it out.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Jonas gets a friggin' bat to the back of the head.
Oh, my God. And then... Ugh.
And it's in there for a while. But yeah, he starts just like ripping people's like numbers off. He's like trying to find the numbers.
Puts it in look, and it puts it in his pocket.
Yeah. What the fuck? And then Lara finds the X that marks the spot, which reveals the picture of Dan with his dad. And I like Amanda's like, please tell me that's not your dad. Everyone's gonna want to kill you right now. And then Lara dies.
Mm-hmm.
I never even got to see her test or anything. She just kicks the bucket. Which heaven do you think she went to?
I knew it right away, and I still was about to answer. I get it 7th. Right?
So yeah, Xavier's going around collecting the numbers, and then he finds the picture, and he's not happy about that. He's like, oh, I'm going to murder this kid
because
now.
He's already in like a rampage. Well, he's in rampage mode from right out of the gate.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Eric, knowing that his son is probably going to die any minute, goes in and just mercilessly beats the shit out of Jigsaw. And I love that Jigsaw has the cool, calm composure. And then when he breaks his finger, he's like, ah! Mm-hmm. It's like, all right.
He's like, oh, we found...
He's like, ah! Like, oh, well,
I found your kryptonite, your fingers.
And of course, because he learns nothing, he's still bringing up Eric's past. Yeah. It's like, dude, come on.
I love it. And that's why we feel bad for him.
And I think at some point around here, he told him, like, if you just talk to me and have a conversation with me until that clock runs out, your son will be fine. But Eric just won't have it. He's beating the ever-living shit out of him. So Addison goes into the room that has a needle in a box. And she's like, oh, perfect. Let me just yank my hands in there.
That was the easiest one to get out of.
to her defense, she is slowly dying, and I think her brain's shutting down.
But
if more people were
say that,
if more people were there, they would have been able to like prop the things up and or there could have just been stuff around the room they could have like put in there. Instead, she's like,
yeah, she just goes, "This is easy." You know? Like, let me put both of them in.
Let me put both hands in there.
Like, whoa, oh my God.
But yeah, she starts to just bleed out. And I like that Xavier comes in just to read the number on her head and then leaves. Mm-hmm. Just leaves her.
Yeah, he moved the hair like,
It's like, come on, man. You can't even just try to help. Just to at least fake the effort. Come on.
I guess that, you're right. At that point, like, they're all just like, I don't give a shit about anybody right now.
Yeah. So Jigsaw, after getting crap beat out of him, he agrees to take Eric to the house. Notice he doesn't say your son. He says, I'll take you to the house. He kidnaps Jigsaw and gets out of there. But the cops get the address to the house where the signal's coming from. They're like, good, we figured it out. We're both going to the same place. So we think. Mm-hmm. Somehow, Dan and Amanda make it back into the initial room. Xavier's trying to break the door down.
Yep.
I like that she
from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that she just yanks the bat out of Jonas's head and then uses it to jam the door. I'm like, come on, I feel bad. I guess you have to in that situation, but it's like I feel really bad for that guy.
Who also died from like a bat, like a spiked bat to like the back of the head?
In this or just
no in Escape from New York.
Oh
yeah, because
it's either Escape from New York. Yes,
that's
yes.
it. I was like, I hit the roll a blank. I'm like,
I fucking love that movie.
He dies just like hanging on the rope.
Yeah, God, that movie's so good.
Yeah. Not as good as Escape from LA.
Of course, the gold standard. I remember joking. I was just
Surfing.
like, in my commentary track I did a long time ago with Dick Masterson, we did one for Escape from LA. And I talked about like the basketball thing. As soon as I got introduced to that, I'd be like, just kill me. I'm not going to make it. Let's not even waste everyone's time. I told him like I'd have better chance with the wrestling. And he looked at me. He's like, really? I'm like, look, I know for a fact I cannot shoot a ball into a basket. But I was like, but when I was a wrestler in high school, I almost won a match. So statistically, I will have a better chance at that one.
Oh my God, I remember.
Ugh. I'd be lucky if you were in the ring. I'd be like, oh, I'm escaping New York today. Let's do this. Ooh. I'd also be lucky in a basketball contest with you.
I'm just gonna let you have it.
We went too long not doing an episode together, kid. We really got to make this a more regular thing.
Yeah.
We should do the Terrify. Oh, I already did them. Anyway.
I'm really hot about that.
Look, I didn't do All Hallows Eve, the original anthology film.
All right, fine. I'll let you. I can't wait for you to already do it.
Sorry, I already agreed to do that with Crystal.
Yeah, did you?
I mean, do you really
She's in Florida. She's not coming back.
She did come back. I thought I got rid of her. She came back to shoot a couple episodes.
Always come back.
And then she's in a bunch of live episodes. I thought she was gone. I put an audition out for new Crystal. Yeah. Actually, no, a fan did that. I was like, come on, man.
I mean, there's plenty of tall redheads, you know? They're a dime a dozen.
A dime a dozen.
You know?
I tried to get porn star Lauren Phillips in here. I'd be like, I prefer you anyway, but
I have experience.
Like, she said, stop messaging me, you creep. I like Jigsaw is giving him directions, and he lets him know that it's
the last house on the left.
Like the movie. I reviewed the remake of that movie.
Okay, keep going.
It's actually pretty good. Have you ever seen Last House on the Left? I watched my review, but I avoided it for years because I heard it didn't have the penis biting scene from the original.
Oh, so
I went, that's like the best scene in the movie when the mom bites the guy's penis off. And I'm like, and they didn't do that. No, it turns out it's a good movie. Watch my review. Amanda finds a door under the safe, and she's like, "There's been a door under this safe the whole time. What if they just found that earlier?
They wouldn't have a movie."
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah, I would. They probably. He might as well have just said, "There's definitely not a door."
The way he is.
Yeah.
You have to search beneath yourself. All right, there's a door. No, there isn't. Yes, there is. There's a door on the floor. So they search Jonas for the key that unlocks the door in the floor. He was able to pick up the key that did not open the other door. Mm-hmm. They remember that he grabbed onto it. And then Jigsaw gives Eric a key to the house to break into. Xavier finally breaks in and chases Amanda and Dan. And while this is happening, Eric is searching the house. He's finding dead bodies everywhere. And then the cops are searching the house. But for some reason, they're not seeing Eric. And it's very confusing and all over the place until it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, how long did it take for them to figure that out?
Yeah, they're doing the Silence of the Lambs ending where you think the police are breaking into Buffalo Bills, but they're not. And I like the whole time Carrie's just like, I can't see you guys on the camera. I can't see you.
What do you mean? We're right here.
We're right here. I don't know what a camera delay is. I know it's not a camera delay, but she should like factor that in. So yeah, Amanda opens up a door to the bathroom from the first film, and it's still got the corpses of Adam and Zeb, and it's still got poor Dr. Gordon's foot. And we learn in Saw 3D that foot is still, all those corpses are still there.
Yep.
No one ever cleans that room.
No. It's the aesthetic.
Yes.
You know?
So yeah, Xavier corners them in there. Dan is like on the ground. She says that he's dead. But I like that she's like, you need me alive. How are you going to get the own number on the back of your head? He's like, oh, I got a plan. He just slices off just skin from the back of his head.
Like it's nothing.
But then Daniel kills Xavier, and what weapon does he use?
What is it that he used?
He uses the hacksaw.
Oh.
From the one Gordon used to cut off his foot, and he slices Xavier's
That's
throat.
right. I do. Okay.
Yeah, with the saw, and he just bleeds out.
Yep.
So the cops enter a room, and it reveals...
It's just like the throat slitting thing. It's like, I'd rather my whole head get cut off. You know?
So the cops enter a room, and it reveals that the whole game was pre-recorded, and it was being broadcasted to them. And also, they're in a house that looks identical to the actual house that Eric is really in. I think that's a little overkill, Jigsaw.
Yeah, all for that. What if the cops like immediately assumed that it was pre-recorded this whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, you did that decorating for no reason.
Eric finds the room empty, except for the corpses. No Daniel, no Amanda or anything. But in the tub, he sees Jigsaw. That's the name we came up with. They're in pig form. We didn't know what to call them. We're like, Jigsaw is the name. Jigsaw. They drug Eric. The timer at Jigsaw's lair finishes. We find out that Daniel really was in a safe place. He was in the safe. And it's funny is you see that safe throughout the whole movie, and I think it's identical to the safe that's actually in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the game finished. They put him in the safe and they wheeled him to the lair, and he was just there. And he had oxygen on the whole time so he could breathe.
He was safe.
And he also conveniently just didn't wake up and just start banging the safe. So yeah, and he's right. If Eric had just listened to Jigsaw, berate him and mock him for long enough, it would have been fine. The thing would have opened up and he would have had his son again.
See, and that is why this movie should be a requirement for all police officers to watch. See what could happen?
Although Jigsaw is just like, you just got to follow the rules. It's like, yeah, but as the series goes on, we know your apprentices are screwing around, so people have less of a reason to follow your rules.
Yeah.
And stop assuming everyone should be following them. Eric wakes up. He plays a tape from Amanda, who is basically like, I was guilty of a lot of things, but you put me away for something I really didn't do, which is why she hates him. Yeah, so after she survived her first test, she became Jigsaw's apprentice.
Swerve, twist.
Yeah. She was like, I found a father in him. And I'm like, oh, there we go.
Oh, God.
There we go. Another girl with daddy issues. He really knows how to pick them.
Yeah.
And
maybe he is smart.
I'm a noble person. I just look for women with drug issues that need father figures and get them to do everything I say. It's like Jigsaw. That's kind of.
Is that what you look for, like on Tinder and things like that?
No, that's what I find, but that's not what I look for. It's not what I don't.
They just come to me. You know,
Kid, I've dealt with it many times, and I keep saying, please, I can't do another one. I can't do another one.
come on, can't you just be a nurse or something? Like,
Eric is now Amanda's first test subject, and she locks him in the room. And Jigsaw laughs in his car. He hears Eric screaming, and he's like,
yeah, you hear it from there.
So funny.
How does he hear it from there?
I don't know. And then it just ends like that. And not as good of an ending as the first one.
No.
Fun little twist, but not like, oh, shit. Like him getting up, that was like a big one. But him like, oh, the kid was in a safe, and it was a different time, and she's in on it. I'm like, that's interesting, but...
Like in the movie, there's a lot of those. They like something just happened, and then they'll go back to it.
Yeah,
just because they're like, the audience that's watching this, these dumbasses are gonna forget. Let me just
These aren't very smart movies. That was my issue when they were coming out. Everyone was acting like they were like super smart. I'm like, I don't know, they're kind of dumb.
Yeah,
which is why I like them now. There's less hype around them now that they're not coming out every year.
They're not taking itself as serious.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. Although the last one was pretty serious, but everyone's all used to it by now. I like this one. They really figured out what the franchise was going to be with this one.
Well, they didn't even expect there to be a second one.
Yes.
And they didn't even expect after this one that they were going to have a third.
Yes.
So,
which they didn't want to do, but when we talk about 3, yes, we will be back later this week to talk about Saw 3.
Yep, we definitely won't be wearing the same things that we're wearing right now.
I have the option to change.
I'll borrow one of your like XXL shirts.
I have you know that depending on the manufacturer, I fit okay into a size L kit. All right.
I definitely know you definitely don't want me to take my shirt off. I don't want to intimidate you or your audience.
No, Joey C is always showing off his muscles. I'm like, put him down. My arms don't look as good as yours yet. Put your arms down.
Wait, let me get my baby oil out of my car. I promise not to touch the leather.
But yeah, I really enjoy this one. I like it more and more on repeat watches. How do you feel about it? I know you said you didn't like it as much, but
you know what? It was just because when I did first see it, and I was 14 or 15, like I thought it was awesome in theaters, and then that was the only time I saw it. And then rewatching it, I was kind of expecting that same feel. Oof. And instead,
well, if you think this one's weak, man, there are some later entries that you're gonna be like, oh.
Yeah. But I will again, like it's because like, well, I saw it at this one point, and then I was expecting to get that same feel, but instead, obviously, we're looking for every flaw that there is.
I gave it some praise. All right. Look, that is rough when you like remember having a really good theater experience, and then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, this movie kind of sucks.
It's not like, if you watch a Jaws, like Jaws, right, and then you watch it 8 million times every year,
and you're like, still good, still good,
it's perfect,
I keep trying to hate it. I'm afraid to get flaws, but I can't.
Deep end.
I can't.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, it was enjoyable 100%. I would watch again.
Yes.
But not for a while.
All right, Kit. Well, this comes out late February. What do you got going on around this time?
In late February?
Yeah.
Well, I know you're not going to like hearing this, but I will be coming out of retirement.
I thought you were going to say the closet, and I was going to be like, why would I hate hearing that? I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Well, sorry to disappoint you that wasn't it.
I'm not interested. I would have followed up with that.
That's not how you text me. But when this does air, I will be having my first match. I'm not going to say when and where. Unfortunately, I can't. Don't worry. I know you'd love to show up, but I mean, because I know you're not busy.
You chickened out. The audience doesn't care anymore. They all think you're a coward because they know you can't beat me.
Oof, God. Don't hurt and strain yourself, dude.
I'm
sorry.
Fine.
At least you can say you look a lot more jacked than Hulk Hogan does right now.
Sorry. Raw, the Tuesday after Raw on Netflix.
Well, they'll know by now, and plus he's a meme now. You know,
I hope he's alive by the time we do this. He's not looking too good. But you ever see the Office meme where it's like the hot guy hits on a girl and she's like, "Oh, thank you." Then it's the dorky guy and she calls human resources.
Yeah.
Someone did that, but it's the hunky guy. He's the Undertaker, and he goes Trump 2025. She's like, "Oh wow, you're so cool." And then it's Hulk Hogan going Trump 2025. Like, "Hello, human resources."
God, I mean, I just don't need him to like rip his shirt off or struggle. Like,
God, when he struggles.
And it's like, oh man, I hope he forgets to put the shirt under it, so we all see what he's working with now.
I haven't tried his beer. Is it any good?
I doubt it. I bet you
Stone
it's
Cold
probably,
beer is pretty good.
Oh yeah, but that's a lot different.
Yeah.
Hogan probably didn't have any say in it. And he just slapped my goddamn name on it.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, put it on there.
And somehow he gets, this, they get signed or they tag or how he puts it with WWE, and I'm just going, why? It's just like a Bud Light, and I don't know.
Well, we need a replacement for Bud Light, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not 2023 anymore. Does anyone even remember that? But yeah, make sure to follow. Where can we follow you? Well, on your socials.
I mean, your audience already knows, but it's at Kid Osbourne on everything except Twitter, where it's Kid Osbourne 1. Because
really, even with the Elon takeover, you never got your old account back?
No, not at all. And well, I mean, maybe I'll just text him or I'll tweet him and see if he can give it back.
He kind of ruined his reputation at the time of. He ruined it further. Mm-hmm. But you could probably get a one-on-one with him now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway, that is it from us. Please like, share, subscribe. Come back later this week where we're going to talk about Saw 3. It's going to be a good time. All right, see ya.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.